throughout his career has rewritten records, and he's done another one here tonight. Matched his biggest ever win as a manager. In the first leg, he's matched the biggest ever aggregate win in a semi-final of this competition.
That must have been an extremely interesting conversation. Phil, I'll start with you. What do you think Pep said to Nigel Clough?
I'm sorry, basically. You know, it's a difficult one, isn't it? The golf in class was massive, isn't it? And Pep couldn't ask anything more from his players but a professional performance. They played exceptionally well. The fringe players came in, done a job, but I think it's just Burton came up against a top side tonight.
And the flip side, Steve, what do you think Nigel Clough said? Other than, can you rest a few for the next game?
Yeah, I think he probably said, don't turn up for the second leg, please. Look, it's a difficult one because you say you go and enjoy the occasion. You know, the players there, they're testing themselves against one of the top sides in world football. But, you know, they can concentrate now. It's obviously the tie's over. That's a foregone conclusion. They could just concentrate now on getting their league form back on track. They've got Gillingham on the weekend and get back into the playoff spots.
Given the golf in-quality, and that's not demeaning Burton Albion whatsoever, why do you think Manchester City were so ruthless tonight? Or is it just in their nature, it's what's in front of them?
It's in the DNA and the culture that is built at the club to be winners, you know, and it's a case of, OK, look, when they went 1-0 up, Burton had a chance, they didn't take it, but I'm sure he would have been barking orders from the side just saying, go on, just put your foot on the gas, and they did. And then they smelt blood, didn't they? And it was just how many goals they were going to score. But there was some scintillating play in their typical Man City. I think it's just about snowballing, isn't it? You know, the result against Liverpool, and then they've got a couple of big games before the Champions League again, so it's about them pushing on and trying to win the Champions League and the Premier League title. So even anyone that comes in front of them, they're just going to try and blow them away. I
mean, Burton Albion, they would have always feared that could have happened tonight,
yeah.
But is that pretty much the worst that possibly could have happened?
Yeah. I mean, as a player playing in them games, and Phil would say the same, Man City would have been delighted to have got that early goal, because in them cup games we see last year against Bristol City, you know, that game, the longer it goes on, it starts, you're treading water. So an early goal sets nerves, you know, then you sort of take the handbrake off and you just keep going, and they was devastating tonight. I mean, Jesus got on the score sheet 4 times, David Silva was sensational, Sane, his movement coming from inside, outside to inside into the box, the amount of goals they score, I mean, they're...
they could have probably had another 6 or 7, to be honest.
Oh, easy. Well, they're the highest scoring team, aren't they, by an absolute country mile in all competitions. You know, they're coming off the back of 7-0 against Rotherham on the weekend in the FA Cup, so this might just be the catalyst now to really kick on again.
Is it unfair, is it wrong to say that was humiliating for Burton Albion?
Humiliating, such a strong word, isn't it? It's not fair on that, because they've done well to get to the semi-final, so fair play to them, and you've got to give them kudos for that. But they have just come up against, as Sid has said, one of the top teams in world football. So humiliation, it's difficult. I wouldn't have used that word, but you can use it if you want.
No, I asked the question. I wouldn't. I agree with you.
I've seen what they said before the game. The chairman, Ben Robinson, and obviously the manager. You know, it was about keeping the score, trying to keep the score as respectable as possible. Ultimately, it's all about, for that football club, it's all about generating a good income now for them to take into the league form, into the end of the season, or maybe even in this window of getting players in.
I mean, they've done fantastically there, and Nigel Clough's worked there in 2 spells. Yeah. But how will they approach the second leg?
Go out and win the game. You know, I've played at Burton. It's a tough place to go. It all depends on what changes happen, but they'll go out and try and win the game. You know, and again, go out and enjoy the occasion. Whatever players they're going to come up against, you know, they may never play against that opposition or that quality or calibre of player again.
Damage limitation, isn't it, really? That's the thing. You know what Man City are going to do. I think there'll be wholesale changes, and possibly an under-23 side might even play. But yeah, damage limitation. See if you can score a couple of goals against the champions and come away with some pride.